Hello and welcome everyone to another exciting free enterprise race. Today we have the legendary, the cow, the one better than the rest, ZoeV versus the legendary, uh, high production value, Korgs, Team Unforced Errors versus Team the Rusty Spoons. Boy oh boy, we have some funny objectives, including Giant. I'm joined by my co-commentator, Deathlike. Are you as excited as I am, Deathlike? I doubt it, but I'm very excited.
I mean, it's a matinee, and this is a matinee game. I mean, when you have free enterprise any day of the week, it's great. But hey, afternoon matinee games during a weekday. That's special. So, and I'm happy to see a Rydia start. So, get ready. Hope for Blarg. That is, I think, what our runner's looking for.
Just imagine it, but it's like 7 p.m. here. I don't know about you, but time zones are completely messed up. Shout out to ZoeV with the Magic the Gathering names. That's cute. That's cute. I know V loves some Magic. But our objectives, our extra objectives this time, are looking like that giant objective right there is like oof. But then complete Cave Behemoth and Baron Castle Basement Throne. Those are gonna be interesting because all of those are tricky bosses.
I mean, at this point, if you've got the whale, you've pretty much you have most of the access needed. But I mean, we still have to go underground for a little bit. I mean, might have to, but most likely we'll have to anyways. I mean, it's very rarely a seed where we can avoid the underground, have darkness, get everything. But there's some seeds that could roll that way. They're just mysteries. But we can't fade. We can't only avoid one objective out of the bunch. So there's bound to be some excitement somewhere along the line. I'm always excited for at least some boss hunts as our classic Bull Gauntlet and Golbez somewhere on the field. So I think if our runners would like to just bump into them, that would just be the nicest thing that the seed provides.
Yeah, just having the boss we're looking for, the boss hunts be on like natural progression will be very nice. But there's always the case that we have to like search for them, and having to do Giant and the Baron Throne Castle Basement are both really nice because people tend to like ignore those or fade those. But we are beginning. We'll see our partner. Ooh, Team Low HP. It's a go. Stardust is nice though. That's gonna take out a dangerous fight.
I do like I do like the kind of the dwarf set. You will all have an option to, first of all, sell half of the rune rings for money, so that's instant cash if you need to buy something immediately. But also have pretty much all your mages equipped with something. So there's and you also guaranteed a white mage set. So if we had a Rosa, she would, or Porm, she would love it. But they can still be equipped on our non-white mages and still be providing some decent armor. So
Rune rings
something.
are really good in general. Like rune rings are phenomenal. But not only that, but you start with 10 rune rings. You only have 5 party members in your party, so you can sell 5 of them for like 100,000 gil, something like that. It's really nice. It really kickstarts your shopping ability. So that's something I really enjoy. See, like right away, the Korgs is immediately selling 6 rings. Like you usually don't even have 5 mages in your party usually. So that is a neat call.
Yeah, when you find the immutable mute knights, the
Very nice.
So you get a stat stick, and just in case you find an edge, or someone that can actually make actual use of punching with that knife, you got. Yeah. There's certainly some value, and we have definitely at least 2 bosses that can show up that will be taken advantage of with the mute knife. 3 bosses actually.
Well, you hate to see Malone and friends there because that's a pretty easy boss that you will enjoy seeing somewhere else. But Zoe going ahead and deciding that I want that hovercraft and also the treasure chest down here, real nice. Like a sail web, the ninja shirt. That I think was a headband too. Very nice.
Yeah, with T-Wildish on, the quality is obviously still random, but it has at least a decent baseline. And
Yeah.
when you see a sorcerer robe and samurai bow, those are tier 5 items that have lots of value. And Korgs has decided that free one, yeah, is it
it's
imp or
that imp.
goblet? That's
Yeah, it is
well,
imp. Oof.
I mean,
Not great. Both of our racers are gonna be like, oh, woohoo, Jay.
yeah, the imp is it's the best troll summon because it pokes at things. I think it's is it worse than the level 1 elementals? It doesn't. I mean, if you need Chocobo has more value, and that's Radia's base summon. So yeah, that's what the free place is for. So if it didn't roll your way, you're gonna buy a summon or two anyways.
It's like it deals normal elemental damage, I think. So like, yeah, it's great. Okay, finding a third mage over there at Mount Hobbs. That is Tela, our favorite support mage. Not great right now, but you have that Stardust, and Palon needs those tier 2 spells right now. So I approve of this play. Having more bodies in your party is always a great thing.
I mean, at least the boss is not the problem. I mean, this is a very, I guess, trivial boss, but you still have to take a little care. You still have to do enough damage, and may have to be occasionally concerned. But Korgs has no problem dealing with it. Zoe not too far behind. This boss. All you have to worry about is, does it get to 0? And if you get to 0, it's bad things happen. So this is a at least decent experience spot, and we always want our Quake Kid online as quickly as possible.
Yeah, exactly. We just want those tier 2 spells for Rydia to get some MP for Bahamut, and very nice. Tela has exit, which is so good. I don't like going down the outlier cave without exit, for example. It's great. Also, Zoe finding a cut claw. We don't know if Yang is even, like if we are even gonna find Yang. We don't like having a cut claw. Those are nice.
At least, I mean,
It sells for a bit too.
Yeah, it's high value even if you don't find a Yang. I mean, I usually don't want to use it on an edge if I could help it. I mean, I want Hanzo Steel on an edge. A Cat Claw is still Cat Claw. If you already have another thing to swing with, that's okay. But Cat Claw at least has the nice benefit of increasing agility in addition to strength, and being faster than Rydia is not that hard. And we have a Ruby. At least we have all the ice available, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yep, as long as we hit the ice too when Ricante has the cape open, and that's not gonna be a problem in this spot. So there we go, another easy peasy spot. Having sometimes dangerous boss, Ricante can be pretty dangerous. Wow, first our required underground access. Wow, the first check, huh? Very nice.
Yeah, I may make our runners consider just kind of going immediately and maybe check out the Fey March freebie as is a free enterprise thing to do. Hey, get your freaky items. You might actually want it, but also the additional advantage is that you get immediate access to 3 shops that your gear is it has a nice baseline of being up to tier 5, and those usually are those involve good stat sticks like charm rods or silence staff, sorcerer robes, tiaras, the basically kind of kind of gear that you will have end game. Not entirely necessary for mages, but it always makes their magic much more useful.
Yeah, it's not like the best in slot gear that you will want, but it's decent enough for endgame that you can make do, right? And not only that, but we have access to tier 5 like expendable items. Some of the most useful GA items that the game has to offer, like silk webs, sirens, hourglasses, coffins, stuff that you really want to use in fights, or to expedite your process to receive. Like immediately, Zoe goes down the ground, checks the dwarf castle, and gets the sirens. Well, finds the sirens. We'll see how many Vic goes ahead and buy. Also, Korgs and Zoe has been basically neck and neck constantly, like doing the same decisions, and I really enjoy that.
I mean, usually there is some divergence. It's not a uncommon thing to see that runners probably have the kind of this same mindset, just thinking this is the way we want to do things. That's fine. Obviously, just really want to just peek the shops, get some of the free items in the dwarf castle. That passage is pretty nice, especially if we don't feed the big chocobo, the free items certainly just more money, just to store away for rainy day.
Yup, it's very nice. And so you're gonna do it? Yup, a purchasing agent. So we have been finding in treasure chests a lot of like fighter gear, lots of like strength headbands, black belts, karate, bandanas. But we don't have mages right now, so that's a bit of an issue. Do you save those up? Do you save those items, or do you sell them? We'll see.
I'm of the well, if it's a lot of the kind of the fighting gear we're talking about, I would consider just monk armor, because they're practically universal in most instances, usually in terms of the hats and the armor. Black belts, while obviously more useful on a fighter, actually provides a lot of defensive utility on a character. It's still one step down from the Heron robe, but it provides, it's not quite a glass hat either, but it's still very useful for getting your mages still upright when they get punched.
But you still want a sorcerer robe over something like his strength because of those nice setups. But even then, if you need to resist physical attacks, you prefer like a black belt over nothing, for sure. Hey, please, either of our racers do the warrior's chest.
I don't
They're not gonna do it.
I don't think they have a hourglass to play with. Usually if you want to try your luck, you at least want to have an hourglass. If you don't have an hourglass, you're asking for a reset. And a white shirt, as the freebie chest has, so that if you want your best impersonation of a white mage, or at least a foo, that Tella can use it and still look like a foo. That's not the worst thing to be.
Oh wow, 3 Leviathan spot boss, the freest boss in Fair Enterprise. King Queen Eblan is sitting right there. Yup, and Korgs is taking it right there. Also, Zoe finding a light sword, like out of nowhere, down in the Fey March. That's nice to keep in your pocket just in case.
I look at that as a dart ultimately, or selling.
Yeah,
it's a good kind of average sword for Cecil. It's not top tier. It's not the burr that we're looking for, but it's the burr that you get is fine.
It's like the minimum you you want for Cecil for ceremonies basically. It's like the bare minimum you want a light sword. But you know, if you find a Cecil until you find something better for him, that's real nice. And if you find something better for him, you can sell it, you can dart it. It's just nice to keep in your pocket in case you find the characters that can use it, either Edge or Cecil. And if you don't find them, you sell it. Very nice. We'll see what Korgs gets from these, the freest of free fights.
Kind of forget that this is like, I mean, we're in the Moonveil Elixir, not in the previous set, where you know, the free fights you had to actually fight for, and we need that.
Wow.
But this is a little early to do the basement, but I definitely want to at least open up Baron Castle for that purpose, and you get the character check. So this is of the freest of fights. This is actually a good thing. So this is, and you get some experience, not quite the experience you'd want, but for the characters at their current levels, this is actually pretty good. Although, landed in just landed in a spot where there are no other spaces to move in. That is quickly correct.
I like this play from Korgs. I'm gonna pop like, oh, he only has one siren. Well, I'm gonna pop like one siren or a couple sirens or something. And just, you know, I get some levels and then go to Baron. I can only presume for that gated character. I hope it works out. One cool thing about Tela is that you get stop by default. I knew Curse was going to do that. Stop is extremely useful for this. As long as you give an enemy stop, they will not counter or whatever. And using the bluff on Palom, you get like plus 15 wisdom, and that's the result. Free XP basically.
Well,
There's Quake.
The goal of this quick grind is just to get Quake literally online with Quake, because that's I mean, why tell them Quake Kid if you're not gonna learn Quake. So that's the goal, and so the cute caveat is make that though so see heroes on, so Rita is the starting character. So even though she's taking a nap, she's still gaining levels, and the reason you don't, I mean, I'm sure there's a practical reason, mostly because you know, anchors typically are the ones that usually take naps and don't get levels. Well, we need to keep things spicy, and you know, they need to gain levels. They need to actually participate at some point. So even if it's still nap duty, they will still influence the agility anchoring situation, and you can't just ignore it. So there's a little bit more warping going on. It's just, you know, I mean, not exiting. Korgs is I think doing a bull gauntlet at this point. Not
that makes sense.
It's and probably maybe I think it was a trip to I both have making the trip to, you know, speak with Sheila to get Sheila 1. You know, darkness can be lodged in any of the spots. We have you know, K main, K summon, and K moon on. So that means that pretty much any part of the pan sequence could potentially have darkness crystal, which both of our runners are seeking. Well, although we'll be panicking once the darkness actually shows up.
I'm baffled about our two racers. It's like they're reading a script, almost, that they're both following with like some improv along the way. It's bonkers. You usually don't see this convergence from two separate players, but I guess ZoeV and Korgs just have like similar playstyles so far.
I think that has lends more to the starting characters than anything. You see Rydia, and then you see Palom, and your conclusion is do the weaker things first, and if you stumble onto things like the magma key or hook, you know, then you do those. Like there's I think it just lends to what they started with than anything else.
Yeah, but even then, for example, I myself will have gone over to ordeals as soon as possible to get that Tela the full spell list. Sheila only quotations has to give a Moonveil. Now, out of the songs you could get, Moonveil is up there. giving you complete physical immunity for the rest of a fight, basically, and a really long-lasting wall. ZoeV is sadly taking a nasty like counter from the yellow dragon, and downing and having Palom down and not getting any XP. But unlike Korgs, Zoe did get extra sirens, so just go for it.
I think it's interesting. The safety of the virus is kind of interesting. It's Korgs I think had with Charm Rod on, so his Palom did have enough spell power to just kind of kill it outright. Whereas Zoe I think only has the Mute Knife, so it didn't really shop as much. So there's so the kind of the difference in damage is there. I mean, Mute Knife is just effectively one spell multiplier increase, whereas a Charm Rod is especially twice is just one more additional spell multiplier. Mm-hmm. So that minor like damage difference is just enough to kind of throw things off. And it's not a one-shot kill.
Yeah, and just in case, Korgs did do a bluff once, just in case, and that seemed to seal the deal. While Zoe, I don't think V did bluff, or if V did, I totally missed it. But Korgs, they're facing Pale Dim, and goodbye Pale Dim. Quake is too strong. This kid is going to completely wipe this entire mountain, and that's great because we wanted those Stella spells. We want that weak. We want those tier 3s. We want that media? If we find Summer Drop? No, we have Quake. Speaking of Quake, wow.
I was just happy seeing Rydia hit things with a Dragon Whip. Pale Dim being a dragon. That is, those are times where she doesn't have a heroine robe, so she couldn't kind of one shot that Pale Dim. The Mylon spot isn't that strong, so right now just trying to trigger Mom Bomb's exploding sequence and then wait for the Quake. So not the battle not too long. We'll definitely survive the explode. This spot does have some meaningful spell power, but they've had enough levels to survive. So if you had gone up this mountain early, you definitely wouldn't have the HP to have done it. So that free spot, the free grinding from going underground is kind of the difference between having an early struggle and no struggle at all for runners.
Yeah, doing those like a couple of eggs underground really helps, like upgrade your characters from like early game to like mid game, so you can tackle more and more challenges. We'll see what the ordeals changing room, as the community likes to call it, has in store for us.
Surprisingly, none other runners have peaked, the Baron Inn, so we don't know what the character is. But hey, it's a free pass, hallway pass to Z. That with vanilla.
Wow, nice one, Xenocat.
Yes, the scoops are there. Really has enough HP, so no worries about just taking the damage. I guess we could try to hurry it up and kill DKC outright, but we'll just let DKC do his thing.
I don't think Rydia has enough power. Like if Rydia had a heroine robe, I will see it, or like Bahamut or something like that. But just a Dragon Whip, I don't think it's like enough. Even Samurai Bow is not enough. But if Korgs had a heroine robe, I can see like shooting at DKC be faster. But as is, I totally understand just letting the script run. And Cap Pass is probably not worth the time going up ordeals, but this is also I flax it with 2 boss checks, so it's nice to go up there anyway. Ooh, Edward, that's not great. We don't have the spoon.
Well, it could always be the thing you pick up.
Oh yeah, that's true. That would be funny. I hope it's that, actually. Now that you mention it.
It's always possible that the randomizer never ceases to provide. But that Fire 2 does hurt in Zoe's screen, as the guards do actually have a meaningful amount of spell power. Even those are dedicated to just making sure the size and piggy work. But for the Magus Sisters, that's just making the level 2 elementals, including Virus, hurt quite a bit. So
Yeah.
Quake can do the work.
It's really interesting. I believe that another spot with status effects is like a Dwarf Castle one, the one with the doors. That also has like some really like some pretty powerful spell power because the big doll causes status effects, if I recall. So the spells there do hurt pretty badly. And CPU, attacker, defender, yeah, I agree with Vistoy's decision of like I'm just gonna like destroy this thing, eat up the globes, revive people. Let's go.
Probably will just take the globe 199 on the chin. Just needs to revive. Could have delayed, using Quake. Use a bluff and try to maximize Quake's effectiveness and just one shot the CPU. But especially this spot has no experience, so it doesn't really matter who dies as long as the Quake does things. But Quake did not target the other two orbs simply because didn't wait for the cursors to appear. Only when the cursors appear on the targets is when Quake actually hits its targets. It's not specific to Quake, but to any multi-targeted spell with revivings in between. You have the game cares whether the pointer actually points to the thing.
Only samurai arrows. I mean, I say only, but those are a definite upgrade from poison arrows. Those are nice to have. But again, we're missing the herring robe. So we're still on the lookout for that. I believe it's like tier 6, right?
That's tier 5. You can buy it.
Oh, really? It's tier 5.
Yeah,
it's buy it somewhere.
I think
the ground.
But
here, maybe.
But I think the risk here. I mean, this is early stage. And speaking of heron robe,
yeah, there it is.
The problem is that you're speeding up Rydia. Now we're still on the overworld. This is not a problem, but it also has a secondary effect of making her summons. Unless it's Azura, they don't do anything at that point. So, including Black Magic. So yes, we want her to punch. Great if she punches things, but since she's the hero, the utility isn't there. Like it would be more useful on a Rosa or Porum because we don't want to mess with agility anchoring. This is just it's gonna cause some problems down the road. So Zoe realizes that has enough money to buy it, but knows that the Heron Robe at this stage wouldn't provide any useful benefits down the road.
I have seen some like Rydia casting Bahamut, and it still does like 2500 to like 3500 in a good roll. So it's really like decently chunky, but it's not nearly as good, especially for like endgame bosses. It's not nearly as good as full power Bahamut. But if you find that Solar Sword to offset that penalty of wisdom, it's still a pretty decent choice aside from the agility issue because it's basically discount Animan Armor. It's really, really, really good.
So the thing about the Herald Robe, the biggest negative is just the stat decreases for spellcasters. So it's a negative 15 to both wisdom and will. So that's almost a 4 multiplier loss. Bahamut has like a spell power of 480. So just using base. If you're using Blarg, you are effectively losing 2,000 damage by equipping the Heron Robe. That's
pretty much, yeah.
That's significant, especially at this stage of the game. Like if this end game, you could kind of live with that, but that's a massive loss of power. If Bahamut was on the table, we still haven't found Bahamut. So
yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, but I think Korgs is gonna use Rydia in a different manner, and I think we'll see Rydia hit things.
Maybe
that sounds like the plan.
It's always nice to see Rydia hit things. Is this it? Is this it? Oh my goodness.
Waiting for the delay. Oh,
there it is.
Senator Crocodile's gonna show up. Oh.
There. Today we have the Baron Governmental Office, the full Baron Council, the full Baron White House TM. We have Senator Crocodile and the rest of the government officials.
I think I played a seed with the gauntlet here. I think it's the fourth fight in the sequence. So Senator Crocodile, not too long. The fights are weak. Virus is good enough. So this will be quick because Virus is at least a fast casting spell.
Yep.
And although there are some formations where where there's 3 targets, because split damage really does hurt quite a bit. So when the
Let's see.
when the Aqua Worm shows up, it will, if in a formation of 3, it might not actually kill it outright. The kind of Aqua Worm is actually the tankiest monster in this particular formation, especially in the entire the Tiger Baron Waterway formations.
Yeah, it's why the developers, I can only assume, gave it so much HP, because it does have the wave ability. Of course, it doesn't have that much HP, so it doesn't hurt nearly as bad. But it's definitely tanky and has some decent amount of HP. And just like you said, like the damage split really hurt that. But Palom was behind Rydia with another Virus Cube. No problem here. Meanwhile, Korgs has opted for attacking and also placing viruses.
Hey, if you wanted a seed where you saw Rydia punch things, this is your seed. So, the other thing, kind of early game for Rydia, it takes a while for her to learn Virus. So Palom learns Virus at like 19. Rydia learns Virus at 26, and this is this is a good pickup.
Great.
Yeah.
That's a great. That we have a target. We have someone to put all of that fighter gear we've been picking up. If you hadn't been selling it, I think we saw longs on Fabul or something like that. We have places to find good equipment for Edge. So and good armor for Edge to beef up his stats. We have some things to throw at bosses. We're good. This Edge is a great pickup. Yeah, we found a full moon too.
Yeah, I think anytime when you find Edge, there's quite a bit of versatility. You can steal whatever you need, like sirens, if you can't find them in shops. Although I think we do have found them in the shop, and nice pickup in the adamant half of Forge. You throw things, but if you don't, easy best when you actually have some Hansa steel to work with. Edge's impression of Yang is not exactly what I would call exciting. It looks amazing, except it's not as great. So you want sharp objects. That's the claws. I guess are sharp objects, but they're not they're just not the thing you want Edge. At best you always want Edge with 1 claw to expose some weakness.
Yes. My favorite way of playing with edges is like Thunderclaw and like a strong katana or something. So that really helps for like doing the trap chest at lower babble. That's great. Ooh, what's not great is Vigen at this spot. This sucks really badly. This sucks so bad.
Yeah, this is a reset waiting to happen. Yeah, we have Quake Kid.
Goodness.
But this is
ZoeV is going for a gamble. Oh no, he ate up the Moonveil. Like, you hate to see it. Oh, I was so ready for that Palom. Of course, you're not gonna try that again after that reset. But oh man, I wanted to believe so bad, but the AI targeting had other ideas entirely.
I mean, yeah, it's not even just targeting. There's literally three components to Vigen. So that's the difficult part to resolve. Like, it's just too fast, and will one punch all our characters. Or I mean, you just picked up Edge, but Edge hasn't gained enough levels to offset the return, the revenge essentially. So you just can't. It's too early. At least it's information. We'll come back because this is a required objective. So this is like just like in Terminator. We'll be back.
Yeah, like I love that play. Like, just put the Moonveil on Palom, just quake, or like bluff, and just quake. And the arms do drain, I think, but drain is not very strong.
It's a vampire.
Yeah, vampire. It's not that strong, and it does not go through Moonveil, but Moonveil will eventually run out if you take too long in this fight. But with enough bluffs, enough quakes, and like, sure, Viking is really fast, but you're kind of slow in comparison. So it should last long. I love that play. I wish like Palom didn't get knocked down with a big punch. Oh well.
I mean, the tools are there. Sometimes, I mean, when you have the chance and opportunity, you try to do the most you can, but sometimes it's just not good enough. And RNG certainly, I mean, it's randomizer. RNG is everything. So yeah, so Korgs is probably gonna do the same thing, fade it for now and do something else. There's still plenty of things to do. So underground access right now probably might be Kulun Dwarf, or even just going up. The tower is gonna be a thing to do. And I think, and looks like, and Korgs is saying Dwarf is the thing to do, and I don't disagree with this. You might see if we can replace a character. And we definitely take advantage of the warp glitch as it's on, so we can steal whatever is in the back of sealed cave without actually opening it. Although we will avoid whatever boss is there. So if Golbez is there, well, that's unfortunate. But in the unlikely chance Golbez is there, I mean, we still want the key item, and I think we're still kind of looking to get to 10 key items at least to get the double XP.
Honestly, in this flag set, I might just check a couple more like character spots if I can, and then just like do like 30 items in a dream, because I like we have just like 3 key items, so like I fear that if we wait long enough, like if I grind early, sure it's gonna take a long while, but I have to do Giant, I have to do Cave Bahamut anyways, I have to do Baron Castle Basement Throne. I know I have to do all of these tough fights, right? So I might as well just level up like a lot like early and like just like blast through the seed with my powerful levels. But that's a choice, you know, like it's not better or worse. Waiting for 10 key items also makes a lot of sense, as long as you can tackle whatever challenge is ahead of you. But really, without Bahamut, sure, you have Calum Quake, and that's great. And that you have Edge, but like Tela and Edward right now aren't contributing that much, so I don't know. It's a tough choice.
I think the levels, especially with the few key items that have been picked up so far, it makes the most sense. You want to kind of make the most out of it. This is also a nice free spot for Dr. Luge at the doll spot. I mean, there's a lot of HP split between the kind of the sub bosses and even the Nulb Z, and that kind of eats up HP at this spot. So this is kind of a nice spot to have the Doctor show up in. The only question is what is behind that. But we'll also, first of all, find out the character pickup because we might actually want to yeet someone. Though the first character might be yeeted would actually be Edward, since the spoon has still not been found yet.
Yep.
Will we be betraying someone? The answer is yes. Oh, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's a swap.
Goodbye, Edward. I would rather take a king over an Edward with a spoon, sadly. Plus, you know, the cool thing is that, sure, you can put Rydia, like the heroine robe on Rydia, but hey, now you have King, you have Edge, and those two are speedy boys. They can keep up with Rydia for the most part. I like that. I like that play. I like that, you know, outspeeding things and like just like blasting things with arrows and like. It may not be optimal, but we don't have Bahamut yet, or even Leviathan, so I like this idea. The only problem is that you know, Quake from Palom suffers because he's rather slow in comparison. So you know, you win some, you lose some, you gain some. So there's that.
I mean, I think Leviathan, and if I don't think we learned Leviathan from the spot.
I don't think so.
So we'll still have to hunt for at least a Leviathan. But they're about the same. Leviathans be stronger. But we'll be affected by different counters. But never mind. Speaking of the spell, we picked it up. So yeah, that will be immediate learn right after figuring out what's behind the seal. What's behind the crystal? Is it vanilla? It's not.
Oh, it's a hook, huh? That's pretty nice. That's another character check, which could be Cecil or Fusoya, but it might as well be Horom, you know, Jang, Sid. So, but also it's another gated shop, which could have Ooh. Oh, was that an adamant arbor that Zoe picked up from the first Avalon Castle check? My goodness.
It's the loot. That's the loot we desired. We had, I mean, having a whole league for just that item itself. It's the thing to have. It's
Yes.
outside of DKC not being able to equip it, adamant armor has certainly a lot of value, even if you don't have the weapon to swing with. I think in this, at least as the current party construction, I think Edge is gonna be the one needing to take a hold of it, because the lot more advantages on the adamant armor are for our Edge, mostly for the strength bonus, strength and agility bonuses. So Edge will make the most of it.
But Korgs, as I mentioned previously, has equipped a Thunderclaw on Edge, and it's checking the lower Babel trap chest. Only found a full moon so far. We'll see if this will be anything better. Artemis arrows, those are really nice. Could beat up Wyvern real good. The D-Lunars too. Really useful there. The most powerful arrows in the game, barring Supersmith. But that's not what Korgs wants. Korgs wants an armor that Zoe found at Eblan.
This is interesting because this is a keyless tower run, not having a tower key, but still a nice sorcerer robe, a nice free one. But yeah, this is an interesting choice. I think the goal here is really just for the trap chests. There's 4 in the tower, so this kind of, it's an opportunity. I mean, there's still technically a better opportunity for higher chance at the tier 8 loot, which is where the adamant armor falls into, which is more likely available through Eblan. But there's still, I mean, with the opportunity here, it's still just as good. I mean, it's a little lower chance, but still pretty good chance. There's still more opportunities at it.
Like it's lower chance, but you defeat these chests really fast. You just attack once with Edge and you're done. So I totally understand. Like, it's a play I really enjoy, because they're up the tower, so you go and do the tower check along the way, and you also do the trap chest, and they don't take nearly as long, honestly. So it's a play I have found myself relying to. This time it didn't pay off, because Korgs didn't also go out of his way to find the other chests, because some of the chests in this place are in some really winding paths and are less than ideal. But finding Antlion at the top of the tower, this is a little annoying, but we have darts, we have jumps, we have spells. This shouldn't be too bad. While ZoeV goes down the Dwarf Castle.
This is kind of awkward. I think Korg still has Rydia having the Heron robe, so Leviathan is essentially off the table. Didn't use the Leviathan item to the summon orb to learn the summon. So that is a little it's an interesting decision, especially given that we're kind of starting at the underground spots. This spot being somewhat fast, so it's skewing a little bit of the fight. I mean, this fight is still pretty, at least reasonably well in hand. It's very doable. It's just not the ideal one. Can't use self, but at least the only summon that doesn't really get effective in a negative way, although that did not spawn the right face. Jura.
That was unlucky. Like, that was the moment you needed Asura to really hit either of the healing phases. What a shame. But it seems that Blink is, you power through with Blink. You have the Quakes. I think like Korgs has this fight under control, while ZoeV slowly but surely retraces the steps that Korgs has done because of a very little detour to Cave Eblan.
Did we find anything at Cave Eblan worth acquiring?
Oh, Cave Eblan, sorry, Castle Eblan.
Oh, Castle. Oh, I mean,
Zoe didn't even go down Cave Eblan, which was interesting.
Doesn't have the hook. Doesn't have the hook yet. So Korgs does. So that's.
Oh right, Korgs does. Of course. Nice.
So, but might consider traveling down that route after doing the warp, taking advantage of the warp glitch. Korgs having no issue. Telebee, no, that's fine. The levels not as critical, but yes, we can definitely get actual technically second adamant armor in the seed, but first for Korgs. So we'll definitely cash in on that for sure.
Here's the thing with adamant armors, that in terms of effects on a seed, or like progression on a seed, it has diminishing returns. So your first adamant armor makes a huge like difference, right? It makes a character almost like unkillable. You deal more damage. It's phenomenal. But then your second adamant armor, it's like you give that to your second best character. You know, you make them harder to kill too, and that's great too. It lowers your grind requirement. But then you get a third one, and it's like, well, I guess I just equip it to someone because I have to, because it's another armor. But it's not. It doesn't make such a good difference, right? But even then, 2 is still pretty good compared to 1. But what I mean by that is that, you know, ZoeV's massive advantage is going to be lowered by Korgs finding this pink tail, and the second adamant armor might not make up for that huge advantage. You know, like that Korgs just like eliminated.
Yeah, the diminishing returns is real. Like in a given seed, you will have generally two characters that you pretty much will depend on, or aka can't live without, and they usually get the armor. Though it may not necessarily be a berserker. The edge would be obviously the first choice, but the second choice would be maybe a white mage, or in this instance maybe you want a black mage, probably
Palom.
Don't want that's a vanilla squid sighting. That you don't want to take a nap. You at no point you want them to take a nap. So that there are instances where you might actually want to use adamant on, like, say, Atella, though rarely, because the low HP. It's a nice boost to his stats, but there's not much actual value. Like, you're not gonna make him punch as an example. So there will be instances where adamant doesn't fit any useful requirement of the character that you're giving it on. So which is why the diminishing returns it does become a real thing. So if you get your first one, that is powerful enough. Second one, still pretty good, but after that, it's nice on paper to have all the adamants. I mean, it's like if the adamant armor was on a keychain, Luca would love it.
Yeah, it's pretty fashionable. Like, the thing is that another play you can do with the adamant armor is that you can give it to Palom and keep the heroin robe on Rydia, and that will make Palom pretty fast too, and that's pretty neat. It will make Tella basically like, a dead fish in compared to the rest of the party, but he's already pretty slow to begin with. ZoeV trying to search for interesting Sailman's chest. If ZoeV has the Ogre Axe, this is a play that I really enjoy too. Ogre Axe the Sailman, because it's only like 2 targets. Oh right, V has Quake. It doesn't need the Ogre Axe, never mind.
The answer to everything on the overworld is pretty much Quake. That's just the way.
Wow, where's Cecil?
Well, let's see what's at the end.
If this is Cecil, ZoeV has access to Adamant Crystal Cecil, which not quite.
No, you don't want second Quake, kid. That's unfortunate, but they still worth peeking, because if there was a Cecil or even a Fu, you'll definitely think of changing party comp a little bit more in a certain way. Probably would have gotten rid of the Cane as an example, or replace the Tala, because at some point, although in Korg's case, if you have the heroin robe, then Tala is expendable. But I think I kind of think you're better off without the heroin robe and keeping the Tala as long as possible, because having the only blink mage is kind of dicey sometimes in certain fights.
Yeah, like we found illusions down at the Fey March. We found Bacchuses down at like Eblan, I think. So like you can kind of like mimic like Tela's utility with items, but that casting them on someone else instead of wasting your turn on like using the character on themselves, it's a little dicey, like it can be kind of bothersome, and the turns might not line up properly with the bosses or something. And once again, converging, both racers doing the exact same thing at more or less the exact same time. It's pretty wild to see. I really like that.
I mean, it's a trade-off when you're considering the kinds of thing when you're considering characters and what they're doing. Right now with the adamant armor on Palom, so Korgs will have a pretty much safe fight. Just have to wait on Quake Hit to cast Quake. So that is Korg's decision. I don't remember who has adamant on Zoe's team.
Certainly not Palom, because he just took a hit for 300 damage. Probably Edge.
It's probably Edge is the prime candidate. So yeah.
Yeah, a restreamer Xenocat confirming that it is the Edge, the one that has the adamant. So Zoe will win this fight, but it will take like 15 years. Hence the reset.
Yeah, so the decision for Korgs was, at least for the purposes of this battle, is intelligent, because all you care was getting Quake off. But I don't think both runners have learned Leviathan, which is surprising. Literally got the orb from completing Dwarf 1. Or completing Dwarf. So
we have Quake, right? So we don't really need Leviathan.
Extra damage. Speed it up.
3DI is hitting for 2,000 damage, so I think I see why Korgs hasn't used the Leviathan orb yet.
I think I don't remember what bow, but I remember Samurai and maybe Artemis arrows.
I think it's Samurai. We haven't seen our Artemis bow yet, but Korgs has found Artemis arrows for sure, and that with the heroine robe, that's pretty decent.
I mean, she'll contribute, and she won't immediately die. The heroine robe does provide quite a bit of protection. I mean, your defense multipliers come from
masterfully done by Korgs, getting through that troublesome Baigan. No problem right there. And wow, Xenocat, buddy, triple required. Baron, behind. Remember, everyone, Baron Key was behind. Free as heck, King Queen Eblan and Leviathan. Yeah, I guess it's quadruple, huh? Boy, oh boy.
I know this is a Xenocat special.
Yeah, Adamant Rock, that's the trash can.
Yeah, but considering everything, I mean, Harp is required for this flag set, but just getting Harp from an objective, it's like that is definitely music to Xenocat's ears.
I see what you did there. Yeah. Thing is, it's not a true jet until we are in go mode, but it's smelling like a jet, and Xenocat is like, no, I always want to roll jets, but I always roll, big slogs or whatever. Well, Xenocat, it's congratulations. This is looking like a mighty jet.
I mean, if we immediately get darkness from Twin Harp, we know this is a secret jet seed that just decided to spawn itself. That's what it really is. So there, we'll see if that's the case. Zoe, still fighting Baigan. I think this is like the third attempt, right? Or the second attempt. This is
I believe it's the second attempt so far. It's just taking a little longer, but this time Palom has been surviving, no issues about having some MP problems. But so far Edge has been, he's in there, he's getting no problem from Edge. So as long as Edge keeps the assault up, Zoe should be fine. And with those quakes coming up every now and then, should be pretty good. And there it is. Yep, Zoe gets through the Baigang and will get a Veer Twin Harp as a reward. Very nice.
Yep, the illusions. I usually don't acquire them. It's just an
I
item.
love having illusions, just in case.
Oh yeah, there's certainly some value. The thing is, it's like using image, the spell, the ninja spell, and it's great if it gets followed up by like a berserk cast from a teammate. But you know, at that time where Korgs has spun up the harp show by Edward, because you know Edward plays tunes and we need to kind of listen to that tune right now.
And that was it. Just a water hack. You would prefer to see that on the moon or in the giant, but even then, that is the ZoeV Gauntlet, which is pretty nice. That's gonna complement any of our two fighters, or Rydia, because hey, guess what? Rydia can equip those too, turning her into more of a killing machine, which is pretty nice.
Did you notice that the song was from a Zelda game?
Oh yeah, it's in like the new Zelda game like released today or whatever. Have fun, everyone. Enjoy.
Yeah, that's definitely something. It's just a thing. No, all of Twitch, but we're here for free enterprise, so there's still more to go. I think so. Korgs, I think it has to probably look at what's left on the table. I'm trying to remember what's left. Probably there's some underground things to do, so probably have to do the
monsters.
Yeah. So turtle. So at this point, turtle is required. That's not something most runners would like to ponder. It's like turtle is required. So it might not be darkness directly, but it will have to lead to darkness in some way, shape, or form. So yeah. At least, but at this point, I mean, we've done. I think both runners have done pretty much everything before this. So this is kind of effectively last location. So there's nothing else to do. So we have enough. We should have at least enough experience to survive the fight. The only question is how much damage are we going to dish before try to prevent the wave from happening. And that's a nice ice brand. It's a good time as any to have it.
Mm-hmm. It's gonna be interesting to see how Korgs and ZoeV deal with this. They're dreadful, turtle. And I mean, as long as you can time the lightning items or lead ones properly, you are good. But we have Korgs doing some agility setup, like removing the Heron robe, and we haven't found a curse ring. And sadly, that would have been very nice to put on Rydia. But putting on the Thunderclaw on Edge, it's not like Yang where you can do Thunderclaw like Ice Claw, because Edge still needs a weapon. But that's gonna be good enough. We'll see what Korgs' strategy is.
I think the Azure spot is actually more favorable in the primary sense that it has a lot less HP than the Leviathan spot. Now I think a wave will probably kill Tella outright, but if if there's enough burst damage dealt by pretty much edge, just throwing things, and that would make a difference. But I don't. Right now, Korgs is rethinking life a little bit because it didn't quite have the weapon for Kane, especially because there isn't really a lightning weapon for Kane.
Nope.
Outside of Abel's lance, and that's the hero weapon, and he's not the hero, so there's no chance of that. So trying to keep Edge alive. I think this is an interesting attempt as
Why? Elixir on Edge, so like he used just DPS racing Kinazo and put that elixir on Edge. This will not kill him anymore. 5, that's still like half his HP, but next wave won't kill Edge as a result. But this is a really like daring play, shall I say. Really tricky.
Well, I mean, it's really just put the control down, hope Edge does it. I think
I think it's fine.
Damage. Yeah, this is manageable because the next wave will be even less. And once we see Turtle hiding phase, which we just saw, yeah, this is it. This although the damage from the Thunderclaw isn't there, and the problem
of an Ice Claw though. Ooh, that's a soft lock right there. Oh no, you had to see it. There is no way Korgs will outpace the healing, even hitting twice. Right, because if Edge hits 3 times, we're good. But no, that's a soft lock right there.
This is not soft lock. I think there's some minor damage. So
he's doing like 2,500 or something. So it's like 200 more.
Yeah, this is fine. Just
this is fine. Okay, yeah. I freaked out. Actually, I totally freaked out.
So, but this is one of those fights where maybe a Silk Web would have helped because that was way a bit fast. But hey, this is exactly what we wanted, and this is not quite go mode. We do have 2 objectives on the moon, and we have to kind of bump into Golbez or get adamant. So, but the moon, unfortunately, not totally hard required. Not haunted, hard required. So time to get rid of the spooky ghosts out of the moon.
Yup, that was incredible. This city is phenomenal because it's like do an Lion Cave, grab Magnus, like Magma Key, go down to the Feymarch, do both Feymarch spots, do Baron Castle, everything on Baron Castle, and go to the moon, and that's the seed. Wild.
Yeah, that fight the fight wasn't trivial at all. It's just. Now, obviously, it wasn't if the turtle was in the other spot, I would not even think. I don't think that that strat would even have worked. That just isn't on the table. It's just because there's a lot more HP to chew at. Just one thing to add. When you're trying to back row glitch Edge, you got to put the boomerang on the right hand. So I think Korgs has gotten his Edge glitch. Interesting decision to go do this. Trying to maybe we need a black mage to replacing maybe Tella at this point. I don't. That's the only thing I think of off the top of my head.
Maybe Korgs just checking King Queen Eblan's spot for that goal base. If he doesn't have to do Giant or Babel, that's all the better. Or Forge. So maybe. We'll see if this is for the character, though. Oh, Kane! Interesting. I guess Kane doesn't really have a good weapon at all, honestly.
Well, if you don't have a Dragoon or White Spear on top of an Avenger, then Kane is super expendable. So I think second Quake Kid could be interesting. It's hard to figure how much more value is there, but though. We can still do AD machine grind at this point. I mean, we do have the old man. We do have darkness. So that could be we could actually go directly to do that exact grind. Actually, then I mean, think about it. This is second grind, and probably don't really need to get much. I mean, especially with a weaker character when you have a complete set of 5. we can do slingshot. So that's actually an incentive to actually do the entire grind that way. Get everyone, including Rhea, to nuke. So we have 3 nukes and an old man. So that's what
and that Talon that you're gonna slingshot is gonna be so strong. He's gonna have so much HP, and the stats are gonna go through the roof. So it's honestly a good play. Like, this is a D machine play. But remember, E can't run flag is on for this flag set. So if you don't wanna do D machine, you better have learned the D machine setup outside of Baron Castle or Mysidia, which not everyone has done. I certainly haven't. Last race I did, I pulled up the document real time. I was like, okay, this city's the machine seat. Better look up the wiki, because hey, there's nothing stopping you from opening the wiki mid-race.
I mean, it does take time to actually know it.
Sure, it does take time, but there's nothing stopping you from reading the documentation.
I think the thing about the manipulation, it's kind of based of kind of the old FF1 step manipulation. It's the same thing. It's the same idea. There's random numbers, generated when you kind of start the game, and particularly the one that's kind of that changes is like what fight you're fighting next. And once you kind of know the system, I mean, it started from FF1, so it's something that's inherent. So it has inherited all the way to this game. Once you kind of memorize it, you'll have a feel of what fights are next, and then you'll know exactly. And obviously, it helped. And a lot of the manipulation is usually done around Baron, because fights are not difficult, and evil wall. So yeah, it's certainly worth learning, especially if you want to complete races quicker. It's definitely a tool that a lot of the veteran racers will have in their pockets.
Indeed. In fact, some racers prefer that manipulation instead of doing the regular step counting inside the machine. Wow, Korgs has found Evil Wall at a very nasty spot. Goodness gracious. Now if you have a Moonveil, this is a great spot to burn it.
Well, I don't think you need the Moonveil. Edge has enough. Edge is not getting hurt.
Oh yeah, Edge has the adamant armor. He's fine. But like, if you want this fight to go even faster, like, yeah, we can go taking 3,000 damage or 2,000 damage, or even 1,000. Like, if you have the Moonveil, you can just have Iridia or Palom casting strong quakes or viruses or something. And Aaron Lore in chat asking if this is one of the areas that Eddie will have been useful at. Yes, Edward can hide, and if that will have done, Evil Wall will punch itself without having any targets. But thing is, we have Edge and adamant armor, so technically he's doing that on his own, pretty fine.
ZoeV is doing the same fight,
Interesting.
Doing the same thing. I don't think applied a silk web, but is doing the same effective strat, though. Needs to heal Edge. And this is not gonna. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. So that way.
I don't know where Korgs found that elixir. I don't know if Korgs bought that elixir somewhere, but that elixir is basically what's the lynch point of Korgs' entire strategy. If it wasn't for that elixir, because we haven't seen Kill Threesen shops in Restream, if it wasn't for that elixir, Korgs, the same fate will have awaited Korgs as ZoeV just had happened to V.
Yeah, it's likely to be looting. It's just
honestly,
general looting. I mean, some of us like to be loot goblins just to pick up everything because, like, hey, I might have some use for this later. So it happens to be that. But forgot what the item. Oh, it was a tower key.
It was a tower key, yeah.
We don't have the super cannon objective. Might be worth doing before doing Giant of Babel, but I think at this point, just doing Giant of Babel outright is the play, especially if Golbez is actually there. That But maybe Korgs is maybe to peak all the spots on the LST. It seems to be the decision. I think.
Question to you that like since you actually do play this game quite a bit and I don't, would you go down to the giant to do also the Golbez check? Or would you go down the LSC doing the Golbez check, even though you know that he could be hiding behind, SOT 2, like package, something like the Seal Cave, something like that? Like, would like do your objectives and all that, or are you think like, oh, I'm gonna find the Forge and Golbez down in the LSC?
I think just doing the objective. There's two boss spots, and if they happen to be there, you're literally in go mode. You're already there. You're done. Once you're done with the giant, it's over. So and
Right.
you need to do in Korg's position. He needs to do a grind for his second palm. So that's the motivation. So but Zoe is near the end. When Turtle is in hiding phase, it's a good sign as no, though Turtle has to remind everyone hiding in the shell. It's like an announcement. But we know.
It seems that despite our conversation, Korgs has opted to face check. I see, like, I guess I could possibly think that his thought process is like, I'm gonna face check the Lunar Subterrane. If I find Golbez, I'm gonna fight him, and if it drops the Legend Sword, all the better. If not, I can just go do the Giant of Babel. It's interesting how different people do routing differently.
I think either way, Korgs will have to do a grind, regardless of where the Golbez might be peaking at. This is right now asserting that Golbez is at LST, and there's still plenty of spots where Golbez can be hiding. Like it could be behind package.
I totally understand the rationale behind face checking the LST as opposed to doing the Giant of Babel right away. Like it's like what, like 5 bosses down here. That's a lot of bosses in a single place, and the Giant Battle has that whole cutscene and everything. And it is interesting, that divergence.
Yeah, I mean, at least my calculus would lean towards the guaranteed thing. You're gonna get the levels, and when you have to face Golbez, it will be easy. You have the adamant armor carrier, so Golbez is just. It's just one, like Bacchus one away or Quake Kid away from being destroyed. That's the play I'd think about.
If you can avoid doing Giant, for example, that would be great. Like if you can defeat Golbez on Forge the Legend Sword with the Adamant, because the Giant of Babel takes a long time. So it's interesting. We'll see what Zoe ends up doing now that V has obtained the great ship from the moon, the lunar well.
I mean, the way I look at it is just simply you're gonna have to do the grind for your second palm, regardless.
That's true. You do have to do the grind.
So when you're doing the peaking, you're not fighting the bosses to gain the levels for the palm. You're just gonna peak, do the fight, call it a day, and then essentially do the grind. It's just. I guess the order in which you do it doesn't matter in particular, but it's like do the guarantee thing, and if Golbez is in your way on the giant, it makes the decision
free fight
easier. Oh yeah, this is good.
We take this like oh no, Korgs doesn't have hourglasses, but Korgs has the next big thing, which is an adamant armor. Hasn't equipped Leviathan Orb, and as a result, this Rydia that does not have the Heroin Robe equipped now, for agility reasons, I presume, does not have the ability to do powerful AoEs unlike Phalom right now.
I think Korgs does not remember the fact that Toad is actually an early spell that Rydia learns fast, much earlier than Phalom.
Yeah, but it's easy to like laser focus on Rydia summons, right? And you totally forget that Rydia absolutely has Toad. But he remembered with the other Phalom. And interestingly enough, downed the Phalom, so he does not get any XP for the slingshotting purposes, which is pretty cool. I like that play. That's heads up.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, I think this. Though I guess there's this plan to do D machine on Giant. It's just this. I mean, there. The anchor is still Rydia, so having a down Pelham doesn't actually have practical value, but keeping that slingshot alive is actual value. So this. So it's it. I would still try to get at least some levels, but you know this. But any jump that kind of removes the slingshot, it would be detrimental here.
ZoeV has decided to take a Sid that was in the Lunar Dais. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting indeed. I believe V has replaced Kane. If my eyes did not deceive me, that is interesting. I guess the rationale is the same. I have I have no good weapons for Kane. I'm putting another character here, and that character has a lot of HP, so that's a safety play. You know, Sid can eat up big bangs like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, it's a rare moment where I usually don't consider Sid at this point because like he would only serve one purpose. So it's a decision that, well, I mean, sure, worth asking. But I think Korgs is definitely gonna try to milk this spot. I think, but Totus doesn't have the double XP. This is where the most XP has, and plus the opportunity for 2 key items. But you know that additional second atom armor will guarantee that probably this time a Palom will survive. We're still not gonna give the adamant to Rydia until maybe if a third one appears, and it's unlikely that will happen. Although at this point, if adamants everywhere is still a good meme.
Yeah, and the thing is that this completely nullifies the advantage that ZoeV had by finding that early adamant armor in Eblan Castle. Because as we mentioned earlier, like sure, Zoe's gonna find the third adamant armor, but it's not gonna make that much of a difference because of the inherent nature of the adamant armor is having the diminishing returns in actuality, which is kind of interesting how the stage shook up. Sometimes no adamant show up, and sometimes that's like 3 in the stage. It's kind of wild, honestly. That's a Moonveil and the Luca key. That's not what Korgs wanted. That's not 9 key items yet, I don't think.
I see. It's
no,
9 at the
it's
moment.
1 short. That's
one
rough.
short. Yeah.
That's rough. I think Korgs really wanted to find 2 key items here for the grind. That's probably another reason why he came down here. I can only imagine.
Well, there's still right now heading to the mouse spot, but there's still also Wyvern spot. The crystal spot. So that's another opportunity I think worth taking.
We haven't seen like officer soldiers or baron guards or anything like that, so this could be a free boss too. Oof, that's not free, but we have a mute knife. Yeah. We have an adamant armor mute knife. That's pretty good.
Yeah, just
we can cast like wall on it too. Like we don't even need to lifelog if we don't want to.
I mean, the spell power at the spot is incredible. You see that QR3? That's something you can't see normally because you can't exceed 99 willpower. So yeah. This spot has more spell power than you are able to normally obtain. So that's how strong this spot is, and this is why you see strong bosses like Ruby glare at quad 9s. That's a beautiful sight, but it also hurts.
I don't think Korgs bought some backup lines. I don't think, and if he hasn't used them. But like I said, you could have put wall on Asura, and then have Edge like use the backup line on himself. Ryban in chat mentioning that Korgs has 1 backup line. Might be saving it for sermons. Wise maneuver. But like if like Zoe has like 10 or something, like you can cast wall on Asura and then have Edge use the backup line, and that way you don't have to worry about the life log, or you don't have to worry about Asura healing for like quad 9 with cure 3 or some nonsense like that. But the play goes well for Korgs, and that's a lot of XP.
I mean, kind of taking advantage of Jura is really deal enough damage to make
There it is.
or stop doing full. There it is. Yeah. So probably will, but still, I still think we'll be looking at Wyvern spot just to hope for
Yeah, just in case. Yeah.
You don't there when you're doing LST, you kind of peak or full clear, and this is kind of a full clear. There will be some warping just to save a few steps to on the trek to the Crystal Sword altar. So certainly worth doing. Warp used in kind of specific cases here is kind of nice, especially because warp is underrated in some dungeons. When you don't have exit. When you don't have exit, warp is very valuable.
Warp around across that room is absolutely bonkers. The first time I saw it, I think it was like last time I was on comms or something. I lost my mind. I was like, wow, that saved like almost like 35 seconds or more. That was wild. That room is big. You don't even think about it. But ZoeV is trading courses a terrain alarmingly fast. Like ZoeV has some really decent levels, but has also opted to go down here to the LST instead of going up to the giant. Interesting. And like I mentioned, Officer Soldier, here they are, free.
But you can also use a life glitch on them, which is also
that's true. This could be a grind, huh? If you wanted it to, I guess.
Doesn't have a ready. It doesn't have a coffin item available, most likely. So, but it doesn't care because casting stone. They all die, which is fine, and it's boatload of boatload XP. Tella taking a nap, that's fine. Tella, at some point, it really just gains HP and agility, and slowly gets other stuff. Slowly gets the other stats.
I don't think we ever visited Kaipo. I don't think we ever did. We don't know who's there. This is right before the grind. Did you check this? I would, honestly. I don't think I need Tella anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely probably fought enough bosses because in Free Enterprise, you have to fight 14 bosses to get Fu up to standard power. Oh, I think we're doing the Mura altar, I think.
Interesting. Is this a legend sword play? Like, might as well full clear the moon while I'm at it because I did everything else play. That's fair.
You gotta kind of, sometimes you leave no stone unturned because sometimes it is actually what you need. Other cases, obviously, it could be a waste of your time. This is a randomizer, so there's really only two outcomes, and sometimes you save time, sometimes you lose a race outright because
you can only make decisions with the information that you have available to you, and sometimes the decisions you make with that information is the correct one, and sometimes it isn't. That doesn't mean it was a bad decision. That just means it was the incorrect decision because you are not clairvoyant, and that's how randomizers work, But even then, I don't think this Karate Man is gonna prove too troublesome for Korgs. Probably has this under control, especially with those adamant armors. And while ZoeV keeps, I wonder if ZoeV is gonna bail like halfway through this moon.
That is actually not the outcome Korgs want. ZoeV took the elements fight normally. So if you watched the Korgs fight of the elements, did some reflex strats. So if you've noticed in the Korg sequence, the Mylon Z form didn't change into the Ruby form, and that's kind of one of the things that the reflex strats take advantage of. Is counters don't activate when you're doing reflect strats. It's Final Fantasy IV is well coded. It's been said.
I think for the restrictions of the Super Nintendo, like coding, like they do their best for the time. Honestly, like counters are really tough to implement. Thing is, like elements are like two monsters they're taped together basically, with like almost split HP by half. I think it's like 48-52 or something like that. And the way they transform into another monster is via a counter script that activates when it takes damage. But reflected spells don't activate counters at all. No counter. So you kind of like defeat the boss by depleting half of its HP because the second monster doesn't pop up. Excalibur, that's great if Cecil.
No,
Like
we still what? We're tossing this.
That shiny stone in your inventory. You're gonna check Kaipo? We're not gonna check Kaipo. Goodbye.
I mean, the only character that you want at Kaipo would either be a Cecil or a Fu at that, and there. I mean, with I think with this flag set, any character is pretty much on the table for Kaipo. It's still a low chance of that of what we want happening. So it's
that is true.
Not impossible.
But yeah, not impossible. And the more locations we check, and they're not the characters we want, I think we've only have like Earth Crystal, Giant, and the Kaipo bed. Like I think like 4 checks, and 2 of those could be either Fusoya or Cecil. And we are about to do our grind. I totally understand, like, it takes time. Your party is good. You can defeat Ceremus with this party. I totally understand where Korgs is coming from. But man, I am a whiny baby, and I like my things easy, so I want all the power I can get. So I will have to check the Kaipo bed. But Korgs is very confident in their ability to defeat Ceremus with this party by doing reflex strats. He don't need no subpower sages or another fighter. It's reflex strats all the way with nukes, so I understand.
So the only thing so far that we have available, at least from what we see, would be the Earth Crystal and Tower Key, either of which could lead to the Legend Sword that we need, the other half of Forge. It's kind of interesting if we don't stumble onto a Golbez, that those are the 2 options on the table. I think Earth Crystal might be a more interesting shot because you have 2 chances at a Golbez, even if you don't actually get the Legend Sword. Zoe?
Yeah, but if you don't get the Legend Sword, then you have to do the General Battle anyways. So it's kind of tricky. Maybe you think Korgs is trying to get a character from Giant because he hasn't tried to grind at all. Like I was thinking about it, like hey, he hasn't done the setup on Baron or Mysteria for the D-Machine grind. Nope, he's not grinding yet. That is interesting. Is he gonna use Sirens or something?
Well, there's no healing being done. So what it sounds like is the grind is literally the Giant itself.
That makes sense. Giant is a grind, honestly. Totally understand.
So I mean, the actual HP hoarding spot is the CPU spot fight. That has 300,000 XP. I think is it 300,000 150? It's a boatload of XP that the second Palom in Korg's party needs. And
yeah, I can see that. I can see that. This being like, he gets like 400,000 EXP or something, and then CPO just like cements that grind, and he should be good for Ceremus or almost.
Yeah, Leviathan. Leviathan's a safe fight, practically.
Yeah, right now it's a safe fight. Yeah, the Palom might be a slingshot viable for the next fight. We'll see how much HP, like how much levels does the other characters have at the end of this fight.
I mean, a way of looking at what Korgs has done with the second Palom is moving the XP of the other characters. Moving the median is the slingshot requires that the character is 5 levels below the median level. So I think if we check this to check the screen, if Korgs goes into the menu screen, check the second Palom's level relative to whoever is in the middle. Whoever's in the middle, I don't know who would that be at this point. Could that slingshot might still be online for the next fight. That's where the XP piles on in a very significant way. And Zoe picks up the Earth Crystal, and we'll probably be looking to look at the other fights. Still, do an account.
Is Zoe gonna chase that Earth Crystal, I mean, that will be a bold strategy because it's also two bosses, but at the end of the Earth Crystal there is a key item, while at the end of the Giant Bubble there is no key item, and that gosh darn Legend Sword can't be hiding in too many places by now.
There is still a chance that Zoe might follow in Korg's footsteps, and if that actually happens, then Korgs is then it becomes Korg's fight to lose, and bonus round, and for a key item that might actually lead somewhere. It's shocking that
if this is the Legend Sword, I'm gonna laugh so hard. Zoe hasn't checked the Crystal Sword altar, I don't think. That's interesting. I think Zoe just bailed.
Well, there isn't anything there though. We know that.
Yeah, but Zoe doesn't know that. That's what it's interesting. Wow. I think Zoe might be doing Earth Crystal. Oh my! Divergence finally.
No, trying to wait. We're going to maybe buying stuff. There also is the what was it, the King Queen Eblan spot that we still don't know what's actually there. So that's the outsider thing. But no, that's the actual play. That is the.
Oh my goodness, the King Queen Eblan play. My goodness. I hope this pays off. There is a gosh darn trek. There's a good trek down the entire path down the upper Tower of Babel to the King Queen Eblan spot. There's a bit of a trek. So if this pays off and gold base is there, that's huge for Zoe. Still has to do the the Giant of Babel, but I mean
it's a play. I mean there's a lot of plays where you think it's like, why do this? Like why go down the package route? What could possibly be there? Yeah, so if it is there, Zoe has a chance of coming back. So that is right now. This is kind of the gamble that has to work out, or it just doesn't work. It just doesn't happen. It's so hey, that is actually kind of one of the few things that is on the table. And
nope, never mind. It was the same thing as Korgs did. Just picked up that palm. I'm out skis. Goodbye. Thank you.
So Sid was just the warm body. That makes, because Korgs was just kind of dragging the second palm for a whole time. So that was, and
are we gonna do a grind now?
It has to be giant. There's no other. That is the thing to do.
Time for the giant grind.
I mean,
that miss. Like, I know this fight is safe because it only punches 3 times and then it turns into a mist. But wow, I always forget how hard the CPU punches. I don't think that was a slingshot, regrettably.
I see double nuke.
But there's I saw 11 levels. Never mind, that was a slingshot indeed. L3 nukes. Everyone got nukes. Everyone's good. We have a full reflect power mage party. We don't need no stinking white mage. We only need the power of nuclear fission.
I mean, it's a good time. Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah. So right now, the choice is really between Earth Crystal, which is I think 2 bosses, or Tower, which is also 1 boss, 1 key item. So I think if you're doing the math, Earth Crystal is the logical choice, but you can always gamble, do Tower key.
I think Tower might be a little faster. Don't quote me on that. Like, of course, it's 2 checks instead of 1 boss check, but I think lower Tower of Babel, like just doing super cannon and bailing, it's faster because it's halfway through the tower, and the cutscene is not that long. But the whole cutscene with getting zapped and then rescuing the NPCs, the characters, and then teleporting away and going to bed and all that, it takes a long time.
Checking the free key item from D-Mist, that is the play, because why do all the other work if it's right here?
Yeah, absolutely. Good thing, not forgetting.
Because it's easy to forget that you fought D-Mist. Did you pick up the key item? Well, it's another card. Well, it's fine. It's whatever.
It's a dart at least, but that's not much better. ZoeV fighting that Leviathan shouldn't be too problematic. Has that edge. With the Thunderclaw, it's gonna be just fine. That edge really needs some better weaponry though, if we want to fight Ceremus at some point.
I think Korgs is in the same position though. Ironically,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen. I think the punches are just literally full moon thunderclaw. Well, an exciting couple would probably be better served with a long sword or even another full moon. Runners don't. Some certain runners don't want to hear this, but you still might need the firepower, even if the animation takes forever. It feels like forever, but you need to hit things.
Like mute dagger or middle, and then that boomerang is not gonna really cut it for Ceremus. But again, Korgs and Zoe are not gonna have edge attack much. Edge is gonna be support. We have 3 nuke casters in the case of Korgs, and possibly Zoe once FE is over with this. Like we don't need no stinking fighters. We need reflex strats.
You can throw at least throw the X-Cal that picked up and then call it a day.
That's true.
Yeah, just throw the strongest thing you have on tap and then call it a day. Edge just starts doing potion duty, and that is an acceptable fight. But no, this is a secret. What is it? Ogo? Is it Ogo? Because I think we haven't found that. It's yes.
No.
Yeah, that's
well, we have nukes now, so Ogo Pogo is weak to nuke, like everything else in the game.
Yes, we gotta nuke all the things. I think it's in a sense that's what nuke the whales. Nuke the whales. Yeah, that's
very nice. Ogo Pogo was here.
Yeah, this hoping that the other fight actually is what we're looking for. It still could turn out to be a nope on both ends though. So that's
there's our Holy Paladin, which we will not be picking up because this is a reflect party. Goodbye, good sir. If this is Fusoya though, we kick the old man for the better old man.
We're upgrading old men. This is what we're boiled down to is finding new party members. Kicking old men out of our party.
He has the HP to survive some version of Big Bangs, and never mind. That's our dupe Palom. No. That's Forum. The cape duped me.
I mean, look, it's a white mage under the big towering ball. So I mean,
grind already.
Yeah, no, it's a non-starter discussion anyway. So
yeah, it's fun to talk about hypotheticals, but there's no way you take that Forum. No way in a million years with the levels we have. And is this gold base? Korgs is hoping this is gold base.
This is surprisingly a spot that you might not actually want gold bases normally, but no, this is not it. Just clearly not it. Hope so. Maybe at the end of it, we get the
sealed cave package, I guess. A super cannon room. I think those are the only 3 ones, right?
Well, it's hard.
Queen Eblan, yeah.
It's harder. It's harder to want to do Luca because you already stolen the item at the back of it. There's less incentive to do that, even if Golbez is there. So right now, Tower is probably a stronger play.
I think running down perfectly, running down with perfect movement down the Seal Cave and resetting out if it's not Golbez is faster than the Super Cannon, I think. But it's real tricky. Like we don't know what decision we're gonna do now, and that could be the Legend Sword. I somehow have a feeling it's not gonna be the Legend Sword behind the rat tail. I smell it. I smell the Sinucat trickery.
Yes, everything but what you're actually looking for. That is a trademark, but with some vanilla. So we only got kind of a scoop or two, so hoping.
Yeah, like you have to check this. Of course, you have to check it. Like there's no way, even if it isn't that. Meanwhile, Zoe is fighting against the demons that punches really hard, but only 3 times. So Zoe should be completely fine. Here, go look for Golbez here behind the package. Have fun, buddy.
probably worth saving and then for saves coming out of it. Just kind of it's a little desperate at this
You're already on
point.
the overworld, right? So I guess it's a bit of a gamble. This is pretty long.
The problem is that the pen is still at large. You know,
That
that's
too,
the
yeah.
that is the other problem. I mean, the pen will definitely open up more opportunities, but the worst case is I think the pen would get you to
Oh yeah,
spoon,
this has to be pan
worst
to
case.
spoon and legend, right? This is like what's left. This is 17 out of 17. Pan to spoon and legend.
Hey,
So this makes a lot of sense actually. Doing super canon. You know this is the path to victory, whether goal base is there or not.
yeah, I mean, there's literally no key item spots left. D-Mist has already been found, figured out that. So that is, this is kind of the only choice. I mean, between the boss fight, you don't know, and you might even get the boss. Nope, it's not the boss. But so.
Yeah, like between gambling at package or King Queen Eblan and doing the thing that you know that eventually is gonna net you the last key item you need for the last objective, I totally understand taking the safe route and going, okay, I guess I'm gonna do the thing I know is going to succeed, even if it's slower down the long route, especially if Legend is in Sheila instead of the on the self. Especially if that, but you know, you do the thing that is, you have 100% knowledge that it's gonna pay off. I understand the play.
Has it been long? Have we actually done Sheila 1 at all?
Yes, we have. It was like a white shirt or something.
That was an hour ago. That was like an hour ago. It's like how long has that been happening? Oh, that's the white shirt sounds about right. Yeah.
No. It was a Moonveil. I remember that.
Oh, okay. So
it was a Moonveil, I think.
It was something at least.
Yeah, it was not a key item. It was something good, but not a key item at all. Yeah.
So we're gonna get, worst case it'd be the, no, it has to be the pan actually, because it
has to be the pan. Like Tower King will keep the pan.
Yeah,
There's no way around it. The thing that might be different is that selves might give the spoon or the legend. If it gives legend, it's pretty much faster. But if it gives spoon, it's gonna be slower because we have to go back to Sheila to grab the legend sword.
Yep, triple. At least it's not a triple.
ZoeV has completed the tower. That is the great news for her, for her. But we'll see what ZoeV decides to do next. Is ZoeV gonna do the tower key play? Is gonna do the earth? Yep. Oh. Of course.
Because you just fought the.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I'm just excited. But I like. Oh, this is so much. Everything's happening at once.
I mean, you have to consider this seed is very much a slog. just on the sequence of things.
I told you earlier. It's not a jet until you're in go mode. It's not a jet until you're in go mode. Until then, it's not a jet. And as always, I am proven right.
I mean, we've been in no mode since on the completion of Earth. That's how short or long has been just to get to this point.
Yeah, we were in no mode in like no mode for all objectives except 2 for like minute 35 or 40 or something like that. But then the 2 last objectives were pretty hidden. Even then, with the pan that Korgs has obtained as a result the legend sword, it's only a matter of forging for the mist web, which is just kind of a glorified Sador's rod, 15 wisdom, but also kind of hurts. It has some very decent attack power, but that's not why we want it.
No, I'm happy. It's a thing to actually hit things with. The Stardust rod, great early game rod. I mean, Wisp Whip. Well, we're not see Rita swing it, but it has a respectable amount of damage. Holy Elemental. I mean, there is it's a bet if we really wanted Quint for some strange reason, this whip is just a fine option to go.
Yeah, Berserktella, let's go. Let's clog that cube with Berserktella. Yeah, the thing is, like, as you know, vanilla Final Fantasy IV, even the GBA version, which the Whisper was from, has the whole like endurance dungeon where you have to conserve your MP and everything like that. So having a mage weapon that can also hit pretty hard and really attack and equip those gauntlets and iron robe, that's pretty good. That's really nice. But in this game, we're not gonna be hitting things with that whip unless we already have a herring robe. We're gonna be casting big spells with that buff of 15 wisdom. But Zoe seems to be doing eggs just to make sure, perhaps to check some agility threshold, perhaps, or just safety is a real strat, like I always say. And then checking up the tower for the super cannon room, which is the correct play instead of doing the earth crystal. Interesting, very nice.
I mean, sometimes it's a risk. I mean, you're already here. Doing a short grind. I mean, you're already here. You might as well take advantage. When you're routing, you want to be doing things where things are close to each other. So it makes sense as a play. I think Korgs has realized, oops, entered wrong place. That's okay. It happens because they're right next to each other, and still. Having a little trouble because it's almost like airship parking. It can be tricky. It happens.
Mm-hmm. We're seeing some flags in chat. We're seeing some our free emote under FF4FE, I believe that's whose spot, because people want us to ask the questions. There's like close to like 600 or over 600 different Sermo sprites because we can't swap where he is because his script is pretty unfair for anywhere except the end of the game. So instead we change how he looks like, and we have like a laundry list of 3.5 trillion million questions that we can ask. But there's one question that always is at the forefront. Would you do the honors, if like?
Sure. Whose butt are we going to kick tonight?
Today, tomorrow, time zone. It doesn't matter if we're getting there.
I mean, Z cosplay is a thing, and always have to ask those questions. Like, does Z have a hat? Is Z cute? Does Z even have a butt? Questions that need to be asked because they're all important, and because we love the sprite artists. I mean, Scala has provided a truckload of Z images that and a lot, and sure plenty that she loves, like in her personal collection, like Sephiroth or Golbez, those things like that truly they're eye-catching. So they're, and of course
it's almost HD. Let's go. I love that. I love Servus HD. It's the funniest joke. It makes me laugh every time.
Hey, if you didn't like the Zeromus Classic, wait till you fight Zeromus in HD.
Oh, that's beautiful. Zoe is gonna be hot on Korgs' heels because they're gonna go down to the Sylph Cave and gonna grab that Legend Sword and just gonna go straight for Zeromus. But thing is, Korgs has the levels, Korg has the power, Korg has the reflect. Yeah, he doesn't have thing is, Zeromus, well, much like elements that we discussed earlier, recovers all of his HP as a counter script, but you can bypass that with just reflect spells, and that's what it's happening right here.
I didn't realize that Rita didn't actually hit level 50, as that's when she learns Nuke. Palm learns Nuke at level 52, while seemingly a longer level, but Rita's XP curve is kind of unfathomable, as she needs 1,000,000 XP to reach level 50. I know this because I've grinded her to level 50 plenty of times. It's it's a smooth level.
Cinecat, our restreamer, informing us that Ice Tree was from Tella.
Oh.
One last mighty spell from the powerful sage before he fades away into the moving space that the Zeromus fight. You did well, old man.
Well, we don't want him to take turns away from our Nuke artists, so this is fine. I mean, virus isn't gonna move the needle too much. So, having all these new casts, Z is not too long for this world. As when you don't trigger the refill phase, death is coming quickly.
Yeah, indeed. But I don't think like if there's a second Big Bang coming, it might be dangerous for the black mages, but Edge should be fine. Edge should be fine. Oh, never mind. GG's. It seems that Korgs has finished the seed, being the winner of this confrontation between these two teams. Finished with a time of 1 hour 46 minutes 24 seconds, and I believe Korgs mentioned that he doesn't have like a mic or something, so we will not be having an interview from Korgs, but we will see ZoeV's fight against the mighty Zeramas. Oh, unless
No, this is.
oh, we're gonna raid the tier 5 treasury. Let's go, Zoe. Give the people what they want. Raid the people.
It's worth pointing out that because in this flag set, we enforced tier 5 for untrapped chests. So just trying to mock you because this trap is probably junk anyway. So this is just a reminder. This is just a reminder. Your trash is still trash. This.
Wow, Siren Grimoire. I'm set with those, honestly. Light Sword. Wow, this is Cabin Elixir. Either two. One of the Ninja. Wow, this is like the best like treasury I've ever seen in this flag set, actually. But with that wonderful performance, ZoeV has decided to forfeit, which is completely understandable. It was just a Zeramas fight, and we all knew how that was gonna go. So I think we're gonna get music, and we will have an interview with Zoe shortly.
Well, just doesn't. Didn't get to say it, but GG's to Korgs and GG's to ZoeV for at least playing the seed out for the most part. There's no. I mean, runners have the option once the seed is completed by a winner, to just forfeit. It's fine. Z fights are long and you know what you're getting. So
we are joined by ZoeV in the booth. GG's, Zoe. That honestly, that was a pretty close race.
Yeah, I'm not too upset by it. Korgs ran a good race. Saw the done come in right as I was getting my crystal and was like, yeah. Korgs, since the last time we faced off in a Lally Ho League, Korgs has really improved, and I have been slacking. So.
Yeah, it's like playing the game a lot, kind of like gets you there, huh? I sometimes wish I played Free Enterprise a lot too, but we do other things. It was like very interesting because both of you were kind of playing the same seed the same way. Like it was completely convergent mostly the entire way. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's just goes to show that some seeds can kind of push you in a certain direction, even if it looks like there's going to be potential for variance. Just runner skill and decision making. We've converged on some similar like practices over the years, and both me and Korgs go way back. So you'll see that between runners of that have been around for a couple of years. So I'm not surprised that we were making roughly the same decisions throughout the seed.
Would you say, Zoe, that the starting characters had some influence on that? I mean, Rydia's start with Palom kind of led to kind of doing certain things a certain way, just to get Palom online, to get Rydia levels to be more effective. I mean, was that kind of? Do you think that was the driving force, or would you say that you just kind of think along the same lines in terms of how you want to route things?
I think it's a little column A, little column B. I know when you get a Rydia Palom start like this, that's a lot of potential power, but it takes a little bit to get online, like you said. So being able to go in, get that early magma key, and just go, okay, cool. Can I find sirens to get myself to Quake to kind of get this seed going? Lucking into the King Queen Eblan, which I don't know if it counts as me being a witch because I wasn't on comms. But as I was, as soon as I got the magma key, I was like, all right, cool, I'll go check Fey March because if King Queen Edlin's there, that's free experience. And lo and behold, it was there.
It was there, and it gated like 4 objectives or 5 behind.
Oh yeah,
it was the funniest thing.
Oh yeah, it was ludicrous. And then obviously like I scuffed a couple things. I scuffed my first siren. Just a few small tidbits here and there. Don't know if they add up to roughly what would have been probably about a 3.5 to 4 minute difference had I actually finished out the seed. But it would have been closer had I played better. But yeah, just to answer your question, I think it's both. You got to do what you can with what you have, and when what you have is so limited and there's only one path to push forward, that's going to put you on that path, and then you're going to keep following that path as you go, because once you get that Quake on that on Palom, well, now the overworld is basically free. You can just go knock a whole bunch of objectives out, and you're just going to take out stuff that you can do quickly, which leaves that Kai Natsu back. Which then ended up having the darkness, which unlocks the rest of the seed. And then you find what you can on the moon. I was talking to Korgs, and I know Korgs did the other 2 bosses on the moon, but as soon as I got that Earth Crystal, I was like, all right, cool, there's 10 key atoms. Let me go grab that second Palom, and I'm gonna go do the giant. So.
Speaking of that second Palom, like before that, once you saw those sirens, were you like, oh, I'm gonna do like 30 sirens on a dream, or were you because you were like 3 key items at that point, like 2 or 3, so like the 10 key items seemed like far away, but you had like a pretty decent party at that time for the most part. Was that ever a thought on you, like I'm gonna just like grind right now to full?
Yeah, no, it absolutely crossed my mind. 30 Sirens in Dream is something that I really like to do. I feel like it can really catapult you forward in the seed where your opponent struggles to get the 10 key items before their grind. But in this one, just because the checks were coming so frequent, even though the key items weren't showing up, it definitely felt like, all right, cool. I left the Palom, the second Palom the first time, and I immediately regretted that. As soon as I hit the exit, I was like, I should have just grabbed that Palom and pivoted directly into Reflect Strats. But I was like, okay, cool. I've got it in the back pocket. I can come back, and when I go do Giant, I can slingshot him with Giant, which is what kind of turned off the 30 Sirens in a Dream a bit, because I wanted to get the 10 key items to make that slingshot more potent, rather than grabbing him and then just chugging a bunch of sirens and making it more difficult, because I would have to get him up to nuke, and everyone else would have already gotten to nuke like 5 sirens before him, so it would have been rough.
That's totally fair. That completely tracks.
Okay.
Any last questions, Deathlight?
Only one last question. There was an interesting, you swapped Kane out for Sid. At the time that, I'm sure the weapons for Kane were undesirable. I think it was an ogre axe at best. So was there any method to the madness? What is this? Why Sid?
I just bought 10 Cure 3s, and worst case scenario, he has more HP than Kane, and I was like, I can use him as a chemist.
I thought that was it. I was like, Kang isn't doing like anything, and at least he can take like 2.5 big bangs before he goes down. So like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, my plan was to so let me just walk through my thought process there. I pivoted later, but my thought process at that point was, okay, I'm going to grab this Sid. He's going to be my chemist. I'm going to use the Star Veil on him, and he's going to be the one I bounce stuff off of for the fight. And then I ended up getting the 3rd adamant armor and went, well, I can just keep Edge for now because he makes fights a little faster. But yeah, that was the entire reason. It was entirely to be an HP sponge, and the 3rd adamant's what kind of changed the math on that.
Totally. Well, GG's again, Zoe. That was really well raised. It was a pleasure to watch you two raise.
Yeah, absolutely. GG to Korgs. I told Korgs that because his mic wasn't working, that I would do his interview for him. So I actually I have a small script here that I wrote. It's only a couple lines, don't worry. I won't keep y'all too long. So one of you needs to ask me. So Korgs, how did you feel about how you did?
Sure.
Go ahead and ask me.
So Korgs, how did you feel? How did the seed go?
Well, you see, it was just GGEZ. Zoe never stood a chance.
Oh, bars. Was that rhyme on purpose? Nice.
A little bit, but yeah, that was it. That's all it was.
Well, GG Zoe gang, and thanks a lot for putting on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, have a good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for having me.
GG's again, Zoe.
And that's gonna be it for us, but not today, because we have more free enterprise down the line. Not only we have a restream at 8 p.m. at Free Enterprise 2. We also have a race at 6 p.m. that you can get on Discord, because we have more races in tournament. You can join our Discord and just chat up with people about the race that's not being restreamed. But with that, not only that, but we have a wonderful twin cast at 9 p.m. All of these times Eastern, of course. And even then, if you're a late bird, there are more races in the Discord that are not being restreamed at like 10 p.m. The tournament is in full swing, folks, and you don't want to miss it.
Yep. I think we're sending you off to Fastest Furs. Don't know what they're streaming, but I'm sure if it's some randomizer, Free Enterprise, that is great. So for tonight's matches, 8 p.m. Eastern, NG Dave versus Poydrak on Free Enterprise 2. The Twin Cast, Gurn versus Saradin, and Eisen versus Judge Joe on the main Free Enterprise channel, Twin Cast at 9 p.m. So yes, so less than 6 hours. I don't even know what time it is, because less than 5 hours from now, you will get your Free Enterprise fix for dinner. Or at least dinner on the East Coast in the U.S. So with elsewhere, we don't know what time of day it is, but hey,
it's a time zone, whatever.
Time is a construct. Time's also a concept.
It is.
It is. So enjoy and as we rate, please don't spoil, because newspapers exist. I know they're dying off, but we are able to raise newspapers back from the grave, and
can wield them like necromancers. So do not spoil.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone. See you later.
See you all next season.